You felt it, haven't you? That quiet pull in your chest. That strange hesitation when you know it's time to move forward, but something inside you tells you to pause. Everyone around you says, let it go, move on. But your heart, it whispers, wait a little longer. And maybe you've mistaken that whisper for weakness. Maybe you thought it was just your attachment, your inability to let go. But what if it's not? What if that hesitation is divine? A message from Allah, a signal your soul understands, but your mind keeps trying to ignore that. It's no coincidence you're watching this video right now. What you're about to hear is for you, and you'll know it deep inside. Because what you're feeling, that invisible connection, that unexplainable ache, is not random. It's real, it's personal, and it's sacred. Imagine a quiet, empty road at dusk. The sky soft, the breeze gentle, and the ground scattered with falling leaves. You're walking alone, but your steps feel heavy. Not because you're tired, but because you're carrying something unseen. A secret that your mind hasn't fully grasped, but your heart has already memorized. And behind you, a footprint. Not clear, not permanent. Sometimes it fades. Sometimes it feels so close it steals your breath. That footprint is a trace not of the past, but of a bond Allah never allowed to vanish. A whisper, a thread, a divine echo from a connection that still matters more than you admit. Some people enter our lives not as random chapters, but as mirrors, spiritual reflections of the parts of ourselves we didn't know existed. They don't just appear to test us, they appear to reveal us. They aren't guests on a journey. They are signs placed gently, purposely, by Allah, not so you can forget them, not so you can erase them in the name of healing, but so you can learn something deeper about who you are and who you're meant to become. These souls aren't chains binding you to the past. They're lights, soft, fragile, flickering in the dark corners of your path, calling you not to obsession, but to understanding. And maybe they're the very reason you've begun to notice your reflection more clearly. The version of yourself you are too afraid to meet the stronger, more healed, more complete you. Because sometimes Allah places someone in your heart, not to lose you in longing, but to find you in purpose. You've tried, haven't you? To forget, to disconnect, to burn the bridge and silence the memory. You deleted the photos. You stopped the doers. You buried the name beneath layers of logic and distraction. But still, your heart resists. It doesn't forget. It won't. And you wonder, am I just weak? Why can't I move on like everyone says? But no, this isn't weakness. It's not emotional failure. It's not an unhealthy attachment. Your heart knows something your mind hasn't yet caught up with. There's something sacred in this, something unfinished, a purpose that hasn't yet unfolded. That person, him, her, they aren't just a memory. They carry a key, a hidden key that unlocks a version of you you've never met. A door that can't open without you first walking through this pain with awareness. With faith. So many times, we cry out to Allah, give me a sign. We beg Him for clarity. We want answers, direction, confirmation. And yet, sometimes the answers don't arrive as lightning bolts. Sometimes they come as an ache in the heart, a name that won't leave your doers, a feeling that no matter how much time passes, it still lives quietly inside you. And maybe, just maybe, that's not the problem. Maybe that's the answer. What if that connection you're desperate to bury wasn't sent to break you, but to build you? What if it's not a trial to survive, but a sacred reply to a question your soul once whispered to the heavens? Maybe you asked for growth, for depth, for love that brings you closer to Allah. And maybe that person, imperfect as they are, is part of that path. Not because they're flawless, but because your connection with them holds something bigger than both of you. A divine reason you're not meant to understand right now, but to trust. You're not meant to decide the outcome. You're meant to trust the process. Maybe this is the part where Allah is asking you not to run, not to force, not to forget, but to wait. With patience, with humility, with unwavering faith in His plan. Because real tawakkul isn't proven in easy moments. It's proven in the silence, in the in-between, in the spaces where nothing makes sense, but you still choose Him. Are you willing to wait, even when everyone tells you it's foolish? Are you willing to trust that Allah's timing will never fail, even when yours already feels exhausted? There are connections that go beyond time, beyond logic. Souls that recognize one another without ever needing words. And sometimes, Allah allows the paths of those souls to drift apart, not to end them, but to prepare them, so that when they meet again, they meet as better, wiser, more complete reflections of His mercy. You don't need to close the door forever. Maybe all Allah is asking you to do right now is to keep it slightly open, just enough for His will to enter when the time is right. Because when Allah ties two hearts together, the noise of the world might pull them in different directions, but His wisdom will always bring them back when they've learned the most important lesson of all, how to love with Him at the center. You're looking for confirmation, a message, a sign so obvious that there's no room for doubt. But what if I told you you've already received it? In that strange stillness when you think of them, in the way your heart softens, aches, and yet feels peace all at once, in the dreams that come and go, gently reminding you, this isn't over, not yet. It's not fantasy, it's not false hope. Allah doesn't leave such powerful feelings in a believer's heart without reason. If He kept this presence alive inside you, even when you tried to let it go, perhaps it's because it's not time to let go. Not with desperation, not with obsession, but with tawakkul, with that silent trust that says, Ya Allah, if it's meant, bring it back better. And if it's not, replace it with something that brings me closer to you. You don't have to chase. You don't have to beg. You don't need to force it to make sense today. All you need is the courage to stay rooted in sacred patience. Because that's where miracles begin, not in the noise, but in the quiet moments of surrender. So if you're still holding on, gently, silently, with a heart that hasn't fully healed, it doesn't mean you're broken. It might mean you're right where you need to be. And maybe, just maybe, that person you keep thinking about isn't meant to disappear. Because some stories don't end, they evolve. And if this video spoke to you like it was written just for your heart, and maybe it was, leave one simple word in the comments. I understand. Because sometimes that's all it takes to remind someone else that they're not the only one holding on. And as always, share this not for likes, but so another heart that's quietly struggling finds peace in knowing that their journey too is seen by the one who sees all. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.